EEP News that makes you muse. Today's PSA features assertive communication skills. Communication skills are talking to someone kindly, efficiently, and respectfully to solve a problem to someone who cares. Here is an example of how Lauren uses active listening to the pause technique in an iMessage in English class.
Lauren, this is the second time today I've had to ask you to pay attention and stop talking to Anthony. See me after class.
But Mr. Martin.
Lauren, enough. If you say one more word, you will be sent back to the office for an after-school detention, and I will call your father at work.
Yes, Mr. Martin.
Pause technique. Lauren is quiet after Mr. Martin scolded her for the third time in class. After class, she stayed to speak with Mr. Martin. Mr. Martin uses an iMessage.
Lauren, I'm very annoyed and frustrated when you speak to Anthony in our class. It seems as if every time I turn my back, you're talking. I want you to learn in class and stop talking to Anthony.
Lauren reflects Mr. Martin's feelings and paraphrases the story.
Mr. Martin, I know you're frustrated and annoyed with me when I don't pay attention in English. I know my bad grade is a result of not paying attention, but...
Ask questions pushes Lauren to talk more.
I'm having a problem in class that's frustrating and upsetting me too, but I don't want to say anything to you, but now I feel I should say something.
Lauren, what's going on? Tell me more.
Well, you know Anthony is really popular, and I'm kind of quiet and, well, socially awkward. During class, for whatever reason, he's always poking me and asking me questions. I find it hard to concentrate, and it seems you're always catching me turning around. I'd like to be friends with him, so I'm afraid to say anything.
Mr. Martin paraphrases and pushes Lauren to explain the situation.
So let me see if I understand. You want to become friends with Anthony and feel insecure and frustrated because you're afraid to tell him to stop talking and disturbing you in class.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel. I'm not sure how to handle it, but I definitely don't want to get into trouble with my dad or you. Any ideas?
Well, you haven't tried talking to him yet, so I would start there. Want some help on how to start the conversation?
Yeah, I told you. I'm socially awkward.
Okay, let's try something like an iMessage before class or another place in school where you could talk one-on-one.
Wait, you mean I can't text her?
No, when you get into the real world, you need to develop skills of talking to people face-to-face.
Pause technique Lauren uses to relieve stress. Mr. Martin gives Lauren a sample iMessage and she agrees to try it. Lauren sees Anthony at his locker and approaches him.
Let's practice together. You can say something like, "Hey Anthony, I'm glad we're becoming friends in English class, but I keep getting in trouble with Mr. Martin. So I'd like for us to talk, but not in English. Let's hang out sometime. What's the worst that can happen? If he doesn't respect your wishes, you've learned he's a person you don't want as a friend, and we can change your seat."
Hey Anthony, I'm glad we're getting to be friends, but I can't talk in class anymore because I keep getting in trouble with Mr. Martin, and he's calling my dad. I'd like to hang out after class, though.
Lauren, I'm sorry you're getting in trouble. I know I talk too much, but I'd like to hang out. What are you doing after school today?
Why should you care about assertive communication? That's it for today's news. Make sure you tune in again for more information. EEP News that makes you muse.